The Democrats try and connect with the average American by getting down in the gutter and spewing obscenities. The Trump administration is finally starting to get serious about taking on the Green Blob, and the Rutherford Institute's John Whitehead tells this year's college grads that you are the true guardians of the galaxy. My name's Howard Riell, and this is Riell Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, Twitter at RealTruth.com. In the book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry, and of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM The Lion. Our call-in number, 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back to the fray. Item from the Free Beacon. Democrat Senator Kamala Harris from California dropped a big F-bomb at a recent public event. Harris was discussing health care in San Francisco at a taping of the podcast Pod Save America when she started to swear, CBS San Francisco reports. The event was sold out. Quote, like this guy, this congressman, you might as well say, people don't starve because they don't have food. What the blank is that? Harris said. At another point, Harris was about to swear, but stopped herself at the last moment, drawing laughter from the audience. Unquote. My friends, this little piece speaks volumes. If I think you're intelligent, I will speak to you in an intelligent way because I respect your intelligence. If I think you're a dummy, I'll talk to you the way I would talk to a dummy. I'll use simple concepts, small words. Well, what does the Democrat Party show us it thinks of the average American? They realize that one of the big reasons, maybe the biggest reason they lost the presidential election is because they could not connect with middle America, the average American. So now we've got Tom Perez out there saying blank, and we've got Maxine Waters out there calling people scumbags. Now we've got this woman, Kamala Harris, using the F word. So how are they reaching out to the average American? Simple. They're acting like animals. They're using obscenities because they think that this is how you speak to the boatload, the basket load of deplorables, to the unredeemables. That's us. Make no mistake about it. Harris, Perez, Maxine Waters, they think they're elites, just like Hillary Clinton, just like Chuck Schumer, just like Nancy Pelosi, just like Elizabeth Warren, and on and on and on. They think they're better than you and me. And so when they try and craft a message to be received by you and me, they get down in the gutter because that's where they think we are. Democrats are on their way to extinction. And good Lord, is that good news. It's Monday, and it's Riell Truth. Stick around.
There was a man sent from God whose name was John. This man came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of the light. That was the true light which gives light to every man coming into the world. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 6 through 9.
This is Michael, control. The American Freedom Network needs your money. Please call 1-800-205-6455 to make your donation, or send a check or money order to P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. That's P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Help us keep the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you. Nancy Clark, Mental 107 missing children covered as the director's of recognition from photograph. When you see a photo of a missing child, take a moment and study that child. This message from Peppercorn Antique Auto Parts, Windsor, serving antique car enthusiasts all over the U.S. If you've got a classic car, call 970-686-2926. That's 970-686-2926, or visit RockyMountainRelic.net.
All right, folks, welcome back to Riell Truth. I am Howard Riell. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Now, one of the great things that the Trump administration is doing that you don't hear about is that they are slowly erasing the Obama legacy, if you want to call it that. They're wiping out everything that the poisonous Obama administration did over 8 years to cripple America. Trump is fixing those things. Here's a guy named Rush Limbaugh saying exactly the same thing. Listen up. My friends, getting rid of Obamacare is like getting cured of cancer, and believe me, do we need it. Item from Breitbart. Finally, the Trump administration is starting to get serious about taking on the Green Blob. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt, perhaps stung by criticisms that he was turning into a squish, today reaffirmed in an interview with CNBC that he is not a believer in catastrophic man-made global warming. Quote, I think that measuring with precision human activity on the climate is something very challenging to do, and there's tremendous disagreement about the degree of impact, so no, I would not agree it's a primary contributor to the global warming that we see, but we don't know that yet, unquote. This new boldness coincides with a purge of warmest scientific advisors of both the EPA and the Interior Department. EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt has chosen to replace half of the members on one of his key scientific review boards, while Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke is, quote, reviewing the charter and charge, unquote, of more than 200 advisory groups, committees, and other entities, both within and outside of his department. EPA and Interior officials began informing outside advisors of the move on Friday, and notifications continued over the weekend, unquote. My friends, I am delighted that we're getting rid of this fiction, this pseudo-religion that says man is causing global warming. Not only do most scientists disagree, but even the scientists who said that we're suffering from man-made global warming betrayed themselves just a couple of years ago when their secret emails were made public, and they all said that they were only talking about man-made global warming because that's where the dollars were in government grants. It's a fake. It's a phony. The environment shifts, it changes, but that's natural. The fact that we need to plow trillions of dollars into global warming is pure liberal fantasy. It's a fake religion. It's not true. The Trump administration, thank God, acknowledges that, and they're acting on it. Let's take a break. Real Truth will continue, my friends. Don't go anywhere.
And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the America News Network.
This is the uniformed people of Greeley, the police, firefighters, and work in our community. We thank them for doing a great job keeping our places to live, shop, and raise the family. We realize their job is dangerous, sometimes death. This message is from Citizens Uniformed People of Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. Citizens, the uniformed people in Greeley. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. Not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
All right, guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Lots of news, lots of good things happening, lots of smart people talking to each other. To wit, Ann Coulter, Sean Hannity. Here we go. You know what? Thank you, Ann Coulter. Thank you. I've been saying this and no one's been listening because, after all, I'm just Howard Riell. She's Ann Coulter. But she's right. Berkeley was never a place of free speech. It was a place of liberal speech. They never wanted to hear the conservative side, even back in the 60s. I know because I'm an old geezer. Even though I was a kid, I remember the 60s. If you were a radical, if you were into drugs, if you were into rock and roll, if you had long hair, that's what it took in those days, you could say anything you wanted on the Berkeley campus. They'd love you. Take over some offices, talk about Chairman Mao, Cesar Chavez, great. Berkeley was not the home of free speech. Philadelphia in the 1770s was the home of free speech. Berkeley trampled free speech, and 50 years later, it's doing the same thing. Item from the Daily Mail. A teenager accused of fatally stabbing a service station worker in an ISIS-inspired attack has been segregated for allegedly threatening to rape and kill a prison guard, quote, in the name of Allah. The 16-year-old boy and another juvenile, aged 15, were last month charged with murdering Caltex worker Zishan Akbar, 29, at Queen Bayan in southern South Wales. Prison sources told the newspaper the accused murderer had also threatened to stab and rape the officers' families. Unquote. My friends, these are the guys, Muslims from the third world. These are the guys that the Democrats want to flood our cities with. So you tell me, you going to vote Democrat again? Item from the Economic Collapse blog. Venezuela and Yemen were both once very prosperous nations, but now parents are literally watching their children starve to death as the economies of both nations continue to utterly collapse. Like so many here in the United States, most of those living in Venezuela and Yemen would have called you completely crazy if you'd have warned them that this was going to happen 5 years ago. In particular, Venezuela has more proven oil reserves than almost anyone else on the planet, and so to most of their citizens, it was unimaginable that things could get this bad. But it's happened. And the collapse that's already begun in parts of South America, Africa, and the Middle East will soon spread elsewhere. When I said children are literally starving to death in Venezuela, I was not exaggerating one bit. Unquote. Bernie voters, schmucks. Venezuela's starving children, the chaos. That's the result of socialism. This is what Bernie Sanders wanted to bring to America. Now, if when you hear that you feel kind of foolish, kind of stupid, that's good. Because you were foolish, and you were stupid, and you were ignorant to think that Bernie Sanders would have been anything other than a complete disaster. Don't believe me? Check out Venezuela and its socialist utopia. We'll be right back.
This is Michael, control American. The American Freedom Network needs your help. Please call 1-800-205-645 to make your donation, or send a check for money order to PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. That's PO Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Help us keep the voice of freedom on the air. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Phillips, founder of the Green Earth. How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices of the same herbal supplements? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid that quality is less, so you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. Green Herb herbal supplements are all manufactured in our Wheat Ridge, Colorado plant at 4565 Kipling Street, using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150 different herbal supplements are the most potent and safest in America. Our guarantee is your money back, no time limit, just return the bottle empty or full, no questions asked. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372.
The associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter not be reminder. No one anywhere is more noble, righteous, selfless, or courageous than our United States Armed Forces. These brave men and women and their families foot the bill for our freedom every day. Send a military care package today to let them know that they are in our hearts and our prayers and our thoughts. This message is from the associates at your 24-hour Walmart Supercenter on Highway 287 in Lafayette. They're on the air. because they care.
Elizabeth Lockerplan and Elizabeth reminds our listeners that the drug problem is well documented. We know our kids will be approached at early age. We want to applaud the young kids in our community who have had the strength to say no to drugs. They provide examples to their peers and families to be the best they can be. That's from Elizabeth Lockerplan, located at 366 Grant Street in Elizabeth, serving our area since 1943 and specializing in naturalized aged beef and pork and complete custom processing. Call 303-688-2240. That's 303-688-2240. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
All right, guys, we are back. Welcome back to Riell Truth. I am Howard Riell. Let's go to, let's see, Judge Janine Pirro. You know, she's not afraid to speak the truth. That's why I love her. She looks right in the camera, tells you what she feels. She's not scripted. She's not biased. She's presenting the honest, accurate truth. Judge Janine Pirro, go. My friends, that's why I love Judge Jeanine so much. She doesn't care who likes it. She's going to speak the truth. She said everything about Hillary that's true except that she's a piece of slime, which she is. That she's an inveterate liar, which she is. That she's sleazy from the word go, which she is. And by the way, Hillary had better have eyes in the back of her head, because there are an awful lot of people from Haiti who are still very, very angry with her, and a lot of them own machetes. Item from DallasNews.com, Dateline, Austin, Texas. Governor Greg Abbott has signed the state's sanctuary city ban into law, achieving one of his major goals for the legislative session and enacting a bill that's almost certainly headed for legal challenges from opponents. Texans expect us to keep them safe, and that's exactly what we're going to do by signing this law, Abbott said before inking his signature during a Facebook Live video Sunday night, the first time a Texas governor signed a bill through an internet live stream. Unquote. My friends, that's called common sense. It's called common sense because they want criminals elsewhere, not avoiding prosecution and arrest in their own city. I don't know if Governor Abbott is smarter than the residents of Texas, or if they all, most of them at least, have his common sense. I know Austin is a college town. It's a very liberal town. But hopefully other states will begin to take note and emulate what the governor has done. Item from CNBC. Across America, many small business owners are cheering at the GOP win on repealing and replacing Obamacare. After years of debate, the House voted Thursday to repeal key parts of the Affordable Care Act and replace them with new provisions that change the way the federal government funds purchases of individual health plans and Medicaid. Unquote. My friends, that bill is already in the Senate. They're working on it. When they're finished, they'll send it back to the House, and it'll be combined. It'll be hybridized into the new law. Barack Obama brought many curses on the United States of America. Obamacare may well have been the biggest one, although we'll see what happens with the Iran deal. But the fact that Trump and Congress have had to spend so much time undoing what Obama did rather than simply moving forward is the ongoing curse of Obama here in the United States. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, my friends. More Monday Real Truth. Go nowhere.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized.
This is Michael, Control American. The American Freedom Network needs your please call 245. That's 1-800-205-645 to make your donation, or send a check or a money order to P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. That's P.O. Box 1750, Johnstown, Colorado 80534. Help us keep the voice of truth and freedom on the air. Thank you.
American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown reminds parents, keep an eye on your child while shopping. Children tend to stray or become lost. This poses an opportunity for a would-be abductor. Please make every effort to keep track of your little ones at all times. If you have information regarding a lost child, call local authorities at once. This message is from American Window Tinting Incorporated in Franktown. For residential or commercial window tinting, call 303-263-4228.
Okay, Howard Riell Truth, welcome back. Laura Ingraham appeared on Fox and Friends this morning, and she shares your frustration and mine, my friends, that the Republican Party seems to have its head up its ass and can't get moving in the right direction because they just plain don't want to take instructions from Donald Trump. Here's Laura Ingraham. I think she's right. And I think this is an historic bungle by the congressional Republicans. They finally got a real honest-to-goodness superstar in Donald Trump, and their heads are up their asses. They don't know what to do. They're bunking into each other like Keystone Cops. It is pathetic. And America will lose as a result. Item from Breitbart, Dateline, Tel Aviv, Israel. While the international community and news media focus on North Korean missile tests and the country's nuclear program, one expert warned on Sunday that North Korea may be secretly assembling the capability to take out significant parts of the U.S. homeland via an electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, attack. Unquote. My friends, if you don't know what an EMP attack is, it means that with one explosion in our atmosphere, everything electronic goes away. We're back to the 1800s. Refrigerators? No. Hospitals? No. Cars? No. Communication? No. We're back in the Dark Ages. Now, there aren't many people who could perpetrate an EMP attack. North Korea is one of them. And we've got to take action before it happens. Item from the Free Beacon. Conservative columnist George Will has joined MSNBC and NBC News as a contributor, Political Reports. Unquote. I think we're going to have to amend that conservative George Will thing. He was virulently anti-Trump. As far as I'm concerned, he's nothing and no one. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more Real Truth.
Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone into the world. By this you will know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Yeshua, Jesus, has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of Antichrist, which you have already heard was coming and is now already in the world. First off, 4:1.
No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
We thank them for doing a great job keeping our area shop and raise the family. We realize their job is dangerous. Sometimes this message is from Citizens Uniform people in Greeley. Call 352-2233. They're on the air because they care. And in America. Census, the uniform people in Greeley. Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's Restaurant in Denver is not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
Item from John Whitehead at the Rutherford Institute. Those coming of age today will face some of the greatest obstacles ever encountered by young people. They'll find themselves overtaxed, burdened with excessive college debt, and struggling to find worthwhile employment in a debt-ridden economy on the brink of implosion. Their privacy will be eviscerated by the surveillance state. They'll be the subjects of a military empire constantly waging war against shadowy enemies and government agents armed to the teeth, ready and able to lock down the country at a moment's notice. As such, they'll find themselves forced to march in lockstep with a government that no longer exists to serve the people, but which demands they be obedient slaves or suffer the consequences. It's a dismal prospect, isn't it? Unfortunately, we who should have known better failed to guard against such a future. Worse, we neglected to maintain our freedoms or provide our young people with the tools necessary to survive, let alone succeed in the impersonal jungle that is modern America. We brought them into homes fractured by divorce, distracted by mindless entertainment, and obsessed with the pursuit of materialism. We institutionalized them in daycares and after-school programs, substituting time with teachers and child care workers for parental involvement. We turned them into test takers instead of thinkers and automatons instead of activists. We allowed them to languish in schools which not only look like prisons but function like prisons as well, where conformity is the rule and freedom is the exception. We made them easy prey for our corporate overlords while instilling in them the values of a celebrity-obsessed, technology-driven culture devoid of any true spirituality. And we taught them to believe that the pursuit of their own personal happiness trumped all other virtues, including any empathy whatsoever for their fellow human beings. No, we haven't done this generation any favors. Based on the current political climate, things could very well get much worse before they ever take a turn for the better. Here are a few of the pieces of advice that will hopefully help those coming of age today survive the perils of the journey that awaits. Be an individual. For all of its claims to champion the individual, American culture advocates a stark conformity, which, as John F. Kennedy warned, is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. Worry less about fitting in with the rest of the world, and instead, as Henry David Thoreau urged, become a Columbus to whole new continents and worlds within you, opening new channels not of trade, but of thought. Learn your rights. We're losing our freedoms for one simple reason. Most of us don't know anything about our freedoms. At a minimum, anyone who's graduated from high school, let alone college, should know the Bill of Rights backwards and forwards. However, the average young person, let alone citizen, has very little knowledge of their rights for the simple reason that the schools no longer teach them. So grab a copy of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and study them at home. And when the time comes, stand up for your rights before it's too late. Speak truth to power. Don't be naive about those in positions of authority. As James Madison, who wrote our Bill of Rights, observed, quote, all men having power ought to be distrusted. We must learn the lessons of history. People in power more often than not abuse that power. To maintain our freedoms, this will mean challenging the government officials whenever they exceed the bounds of their office. Resist all things that numb you. Don't measure your worth by what you own or earn. Likewise, don't become mindless consumers unaware of the world around you. Resist all things that numb you, put you to sleep, or help you, quote-unquote, cope with so-called reality. Doesn't matter how old you are or what your political ideology is. If you have something to say, speak up, get active. And if need be, pick up a picket sign and get in the streets. And when civil liberties are violated, don't remain silent about it. Wake up, stand up, make your activism count for something more than politics. You are the true guardians of the galaxy. I'll see you tomorrow.